Okay, welcome back to FTL. Today we are going to do a run-through with my personal favorite ship, the Mantis cruiser, the Gila monster. This is my favorite ship because it comes equipped with 3 Mantis crew members and a teleporter right to start off, so it's really focused on doing ship-to-ship boarding, which I think is really fun. The Type A that you see here is a little bit more versatile, at least at the start of the game, because it comes equipped with weapons, whereas the Type B does not, in fact, come with any weapons at all, but instead comes with a 4-person teleporter. If I get around to doing run-throughs of the Type Bs of various ships, I might show that off, but I think I'll stick with the Type A for today, just to show what that's like. So we are all set. I'm going to set it to easy. Let's rename this, who knows? Let's call it the... Let's see, snakes on a plane won't fit, unfortunately, so we'll just call this the bitey one. There we go. And let's get started. So, with 3 Mantis crew members, your first instinct might be to, man all of your standard positions like the weapons bay and the engine room and such with your 4 starting crew members. But since this ship is so focused on boarding, I find that it's better to have your Engi crew member do the piloting, since you have to have somebody do that. Send 2 of your Mantis to just get ready to board, and then for the time being I'll use the 3rd one just to man the weapons. We start out with very, very weak weapons. The small bomb is pretty wimpy, and the basic laser is basically the weakest weapon in the game. It's just one puny little laser shot. But this is at least enough to get us started out and give us the ability to fight back if we can't win fights by boarding other ships. So we will power up the basic laser for now, do my standard thing of fully powering my engines and turning off my medbay because I don't need it yet, and let's get going. There's a store right down there, but I only have 30 scrap at the start, so there's no point in going there just yet. Let's see what's over here. This is basically an empty sector, so no luck there. Yet another store down there. I would love to be able to come back and check these out, but we may not have time depending on how quickly the Rebel fleet advances. And here we have our first combat, and it's with a forward scout of the Rebel fleet. They're going to try and jump away. Unfortunately, we have to worry about both disabling their engines so they can't get away, and disabling that medbay. So I'm going to turn off the basic laser because it won't be able to pierce their shields and do any damage, and turn on the small bomb instead. I haven't shown off these bomb weapons before, but what they do is they teleport directly into a room on the enemy ship, bypassing shields, and do damage. In this case, the small bomb will do damage to systems, but not the actual hull of the ship. So, because we don't want them to jump away, I'm going to target their engine room first. And once that gets disabled, I'll retarget it on their medbay, and then send my Mantis over to board their ship. And you can see right off the bat, they are hitting us with this drone. The first bomb missed. Bombs can miss, just like other weapons, although they seem to be more accurate than most. Alright, that one hit, so I'm going to retarget the bomb on their medbay. And all bomb weapons consume missile ammunition, just like missile weapons, so it is an expendable resource. Now, with their medbay disabled, they won't be able to heal their crew members, so I can send in my crew to hopefully kill off the remainder of their crew. I'm going to detarget my bomb because it will damage your crew members if it goes off in a room with them in it. And you don't want to hurt your crew. Alright, so we've taken out 2 of their crew. There's 1 guy left. And we should win this damage race because A, Mantis are good at hand-to-hand combat, and B, it's a 2-on-1 fight. So there we go, we win the fight. We get a little bit of drones and missiles and scrap. And we didn't take too much damage, so that worked out pretty well. I'm going to send these guys up to finish fixing up our medbay and then heal up before we jump. You obviously don't want to be boarding enemy crew with injured crew members of your own, or they will lose fights more often. So it's very important to keep your boarding crew as healthy as possible. Now that they're healed up, I will send them back to the teleporter and keep jumping. I might be able to get to this store down here before the rebel fleet covers it up, but we'll see how it goes. And here we have some slavers. We are not going to surrender our crew to slavers. In fact, we are going to board their ship and see if we can liberate some slaves. So, because this ship is focused around boarding actions as opposed to actual ship-to-ship combat, you'll actually spend a lot of time, especially early on, not even attacking the enemy ship. You'll just be focusing on killing their crew and keeping your boarders alive. So we win. We find a number of slaves in the cargo hold. They ask if they're going to be released. And here, because we saved all of them from the slavers, we get to pick which kind of crew member we want to join our cause. In this case, since I've already got a full boarding party, I'm going to have the Anki join my crew because they are good for repairing damaged systems, and they are good at just running stuff on the ship. So they're very good support crew members to have for this particular ship. And hopefully he'll be able to get the oxygen fixed before he takes too much damage. Yeah, there we go. And because this ship, like I said, is so focused on boarding, you will often not be attacking the other ship, and therefore it'll just kind of be sitting there dodging bullets while your crew do the fighting for you. So it's very important, I've found, to try and get your shields upgraded as quickly as you can. So that's the first thing I'm going to spend scrap on. And with that, we are ready to jump away. It looks like I might be able to make it to that store before the rebel fleet gets there. So I'm going to jump back one, and we'll see how that goes. Here we come across a rebel automated scout ship pursuing a civilian. We are going to help them out. This scout ship does not have shields, so we can actually just use our basic laser to take it out. I'm not going to worry about wasting small bombs to disable its systems when I don't have any shields to get through. And this fight will take a while because that basic laser only does 1 point of damage with every shot. So like I said, it is important to upgrade your weapons fairly soon. It's not as critically important as other ships because having a boarding party is very powerful, especially early on. But I would like to get some better equipment, hopefully sooner rather than later. And hopefully this last shot will take care of it. Yeah, there we go. Alright. So, we get some scrap from them, and the civilian ship skedaddled, but that's okay. I could jump back and check out that store, but with only 20 scrap, I'm not really going to be able to buy anything worthwhile. And then, jumping away from there, I also probably wouldn't be able to outrun the rebel fleet, so I'm actually going to start heading towards the exit of this sector. Here we come across another Federation ship. Now, unlike that first one, these guys do not have a med bay, so I don't really have to worry about their crew being able to heal. So I'm just going to teleport over immediately. Hopefully they only have 3 crew members. My 2 Mantis can currently handle 3 crew members pretty much fine. If there's a 4th, then I'm going to have to bring them back to the ship to heal before I finish off the rest of their crew. Once they get a couple levels in hand-to-hand combat, though, that'll be less of an issue, because they'll start doing more damage more quickly. And there we go. We beat them, and we got a nice amount of scrap for this early on in the game. As I said in my earlier playthrough, you do tend to get more scrap for killing off enemy ship's crew than you would for just destroying the ship. So we'll send them to heal up. The next thing I'm going to upgrade is actually, hopefully, going to be my sensors, because if you look down here, you can see that the Mantis ship doesn't actually come with any sensors to start with, which seems kind of counterintuitive since they're so focused on boarding. You would think they would want to be able to see what's going on inside the enemy ship. But I think this was more a balanced decision on the part of the developer rather than something that they worked in just for the sake of gameplay fluff. But that's okay. Buying sensors in stores is actually pretty cheap. It only costs 40 scrap, so if we come across another store, that'll probably be the next thing I buy, assuming it's available. And here we jump next to a nearby sun, and we're fighting a slug ship. These almost always only have 2 crew members on them, so taking care of it should be a piece of cake. Oh, except that one of them is a rock man, so we have 150 hit points to cut through before this guy will go down. But again, it's 2-on-1, so he goes down pretty quickly. And here comes the second guy. The enemy AI is not that great at ship-to-ship combat. You can see they might have been better off having both of their crew rush my borders immediately. But since they didn't do that, we were able to take advantage and fight them one-on-one. Once again, I'm going to have my guys healing up. The tricky part about this is because I don't have sensors on my ship, it can be hard to tell where the fire spawns, if there is any. Thankfully, it spawned in a room that we have occupied, so we know it's here in the medbay. And with that, we will jump away. There's a distress beacon up here, so I'm going to go check that out while my guys fight that fire. We find a research station that is currently burning. We could send in our crew to help put out the fire, but because none of them are rock, and therefore none of them are immune to fire, there's a good chance that we could lose one of them. So instead, we'll just dock and try to rescue one of the survivors. We're not successful, but at least we got a little bit of scrap out of it, so it could have been worse. And now that my 2 Mantis are done fighting that fire, I am going to jump again. We have an asteroid field to explore, so let's check that out. Nothing there, but at least we didn't take any damage. Here we're given the opportunity to sell missiles for scrap. I'm not going to take this because using these small bombs, you can go through your missile ammunition at a surprising rate, and it's really our only way of doing damage to shielded enemies right now. So at least for the time being, it's very important that we conserve our ammunition. And here we are at the exit of the sector. We can sell a couple of our drone parts for a little bit more scrap, which is always handy. And we will jump away. Since we're not very well equipped offensively right now, I'm going to stick to the green civilian sectors, at least for the time being. And let's see what we have here. No stores within immediate reach. We're getting a little low on fuel, but not enough that I'm concerned. Here we come across a cache that we could booby trap. I'm going to secure it instead, and hopefully there's some good loot inside. We got some scrap and an anti-ship drone, so we'll be able to sell that at the store that happens to be right next door. But I'm going to make one more jump before I go to that store. We have some Engi who are offering to surrender to us. I feel like since my crew is mostly Mantis, maybe we're not the most honest people in the world in this playthrough, or at least we're more pragmatic than, the goody-goody human Federation crews. So we're going to accept their offer of surrender. And that turned out to be a very good choice because we get some fuel, some drone parts, some scrap, and a Mark II Hull Smasher laser, which is a pretty good weapon. It requires 3 power, but it fires 3 lasers, much like a burst laser 2, and those lasers do double damage in empty rooms. So that can be a very good weapon. It's not one of my favorites, but it's certainly a lot better than what we currently have. So let's go check out that store now. Okay, first thing I'm going to do is fix up my ship, because we've taken a fair bit of damage. I'm going to buy the 3 fuel that's for sale. I'm going to buy the automated reloader, because you always want to have your weapon cooldowns as short as possible. And since they have a few Engi to hire, I'm going to sell that anti-ship drone while I'm thinking about it. I'm going to hire one of these Engi crew. That way I've got all of my critical systems manned, and a full party for boarding actions, and 50 scrap left over. Which, actually, I am going to spend on a couple power upgrades, because we could certainly use a little bit more energy. With all of that said and done, let's go check out this distress signal. It's a lifeless ship giving it off this distress call. Let's check it out. Unfortunately, a few asteroids got past our shields and we took a little bit of damage. So, not the best outcome, but it could have been worse. There's another store down here, so I'm going to jump back and see if I can farm a few beacon points before I go there. Here they're offering us 10 fuel for 3 missiles. We're doing very good on our ammunition and we're running low on fuel, so I'm going to take that trade. Because now I've more than doubled our current fuel supply, and I won't have to worry about it for a while. We find ourselves in an asteroid field with a pirate ship waiting to attack. I think you know what I'm going to do here. And there will probably be less running commentary in the middle of fights in this playthrough, just because with the Mantis ship, and the way I played at least, you generally end up just kind of sitting around watching your crew members slaughter the enemy crew, which is very satisfying, but maybe not as exciting to watch for you guys as ship-to-ship combat. If you look here, there's a little gold fist above one of my crew members. That means they just gained a level in hand-to-hand combat, so that's good. We got some more scrap out of that, which is also good. I'll send my Mantis back to heal up while my FTL drive charges. And let's check out this store. Alright, they have sensors for sale, which is very good because you can get through the game without them, but I find that it's much easier to actually have sensors whenever possible. Even if it's just for my own peace of mind, being able to see all of the interior of my own ship. And here we have an empty sector, distress call up here. And it was a trap. It is a rock ship, which means we're probably going to have rock crewmen, but maybe we'll get lucky and it's only one. Oh no, it's an Engi and a Zoltan. Zoltan crew members are really easy to take out in fights because they start out with just 70 hit points. So they are not nearly as durable as the other species in the game. And with that, we got some fuel, some scrap, and my other Mantis boarder leveled up. So they are both progressing very nicely in terms of hand-to-hand combat experience. I'm going to send my Engi up just to speed up that weapon repair a little bit. As I said in previous playthroughs, Mantis crew members can only repair systems at half the speed of other species, so it is very useful to have a few Engi, or even, just a few other kinds of crew members on your ship, so you can get stuff fixed in a reasonable amount of time. With that done, we have another distress call. We'll check that one out. And here we have another haywire satellite defense system, and thankfully, because I have Engi crew, I can repair it from a distance, and we get a nice reward for that. We can make one more jump and still make it to the exit before the rebel fleet, so I'm going to head down here. And we come across a pirate ship that is offering us a small bribe to leave them alone, but I really don't like pirates, so we're going to take them out. I'm not too worried about disabling their engine or anything since they're not jumping away, so I'm just going to target their medbase straight away with my small bomb. Hopefully disable that quickly, and then I'll be able to send in my boarders. Yep, there we go. That's been taken care of, so I'm going to send my boarders in. One useful tactic is, once you've disabled an enemy ship's medbay, it's often a good idea to teleport your boarding party into the medbay as well. That way, they'll be fighting in there, which means that the enemy crew can't be repairing it while you're on board. And yeah, we're taking a few missile hits, but nothing we can't survive. And since I'm not using my weapons anyway, I'm not too worried about that being out of commission at the moment. I find that in general, using a boarding-focused ship like this, you will typically take more damage than you would just with straight ship-to-ship combat, but that is basically balanced out by the extra scrap you get from scrapping entire ships instead of just picking through the remains. It turns out that the ship we saved from these pirates was a rebel scout. We could use the leverage we gained by saving their lives to have them delay the pursuing fleet, but since we're already at the end of this sector, there's no reason to do that, so we're just going to destroy them and get a little bit of extra salvage out of it. Maybe a little heartless, but like I said, we're Mantis, we're kind of jerks. And once my boarding party is healed up, I need to heal up the rest of my crew as well. As I said before, it's important to keep tabs on everybody's hit points and make sure nobody gets too low. With them all healed up, we are doing quite well on scrap, so I'm going to jump down to the exit point. And nice, we just get a free reward. And now we are all set to exit Sector 2, and with that I'm going to end this video, and I will see you again in Sector 3.